Hey, so we're looking at Airbnb. This is another one that I categorize as a hype stock. It's very new. I think it has potential to be a disruptor. Um, it's hit a high of like 212, 216. That's that black line up top. This one does appear to be in an uptrend right now. Last time we looked at this was right around here in this red bar. So about 3 weeks ago at this point, we did check in. Uh, At that point, it was trading at 126. Right now, it's at 124. So it looks like maybe this is a new bottom here at around 115. I will say if we were to add in, let's try to track some parallel lines. You know, this was like the original uptrend, but if we were to like pull it back a little bit, we'll try to be conservative here and do something like that. And we'll make this a little bit thicker and make it purple just so it stands out for us. Um, Maybe I shouldn't make it like a full parallel line like I did, but for now we'll leave it in there. So it does seem like it's in an uptrend. So I'm gonna just add that to our chart. So short term uptrend. Let's see. Originally, I marked out as the buy point of 95, which is that green line down here. If this starts to act as the new support line, which it seems to be at 115, just looking back, I mean, it definitely makes sense that it's hitting its head at 131, just based on if we go back to the very beginning. Um, Obviously, we don't want to go back too far. That seemed to be like a support line for all of 21 and even into 22, close to halfway through 22, and then all of a sudden now it's acting as a resistance line. So when I look at this one, currently it's if this uptrend wants to, you know, hold true, it looks like it's at a decent spot. Um, we'll be looking forward to seeing if this one breaks below that trend line, which it did slightly. And again, I just drew these in very modestly. I didn't There's not too much thinking behind it. I just try to give it a fair assessment. And same with the uptrend line. Just try to give it a fair assessment. It does seem like it's kind of trading sideways here in the past like month and a half. So what we can do just to see if this kind of stays true is we'll draw in a new kind of bottom, and I'll just make this line blue for now just to show that that might be a point of interest for us. Um, yeah, we'll keep it blue for now, just because. Um, I did hear some news that this Airbnb might be becoming oversaturated. Uh, Something about like because the rent prices are going too high, Airbnb to rent an Airbnb, the prices are also going up, which could limit the amount of people actually renting an Airbnb, which obviously, if people don't rent an Airbnb, they're not going to make any money. So that's something to consider. I guess alternatively, I guess it depends on how much people stop using Airbnb because, you know, if the prices for a rental through Airbnb go up, you know, you're going to make more money because the price went up, but because you're not making as many sales, you know, there's a break even point there. Not sure where that break even point is, but um, one or the other is going to have to give. And it seems like right now, I guess that's a good thing. You know, revenue must be going up. Hopefully, we can, similar to other videos, I probably mentioned that, um, you know, we'll need to do a little more digging into this one, and hopefully I can do that come the next time I look at this one, whether that's in a week or two or sometime next month. Ideally, I'll have a little more knowledge on this one that I can kind of share and get a little more in depth of what's going on with this. But otherwise, yeah, let's just update where it's at. So last time we looked, it was at 126. Right now, it's at 124. A buy point, I guess, with this one, considering kind of what we're adding in, I would say next week, if it was honestly right where it is it seems to be a decent time. Um, yeah, so I'd be okay with getting into this one. Uh, Once again, we want to see if this uptrend continues to hang on. My big worry with this one again is that if we do buy in at around 124, or maybe it'll fall back to like 123 or 122, is will it kind of stall out at 131? That's not much of a window in terms of um, growth for this one. Again, it's just, is this one good enough today long term, at least for me? So that's just something I'm considering. But 124, again, it's not a great spot. It's but so clearly the argument is if we buy it now, will that uptrend continue? I think if we kind of scale out, like hypothetically, if it were to go above 131, like all the way up to say 140, if it does that, I mean, we could see a big run. I mean, every time it's gone positively above 140, it's rallied close to 215, 220. So we'll kind of we'll watch this one, but that's kind of the thinking. We could get in now. I think it's a little bit too soon, at least for me. If we could have got it close to like 100, ideally 95, yeah, I wouldn't care if it was in a downtrend or an uptrend. That to me just seems like a really good time to buy. Again, because it seems like there was some support down here, but it also seems like there's decent support at 131. Even though right now I said it's a resistance line, it seems like if we can get a strong, I don't know, financial statement or some positive news that really kind of energizes this one, there's potential that it could rally. Again, I would want like strong confirmation that it goes well above 131. Like if it went to say 135, I don't know if that's really strong enough. I think if it hit that a point like that above our red line, I think there's a decent. I think it's more likely that it could pull back. But if we see a really strong jump to like 140 and beyond, if that type of result happens, at that point, I think we could see a big rally up to like the 200s. So that might not make sense that you wouldn't buy at 135, but you would buy at 140. Because you always want to buy it at the best possible price. But again, the thinking is if it goes above 131, this red line, like I want strong confirmation that it's going to stay above that line as opposed to sort of like if we zoom in here, you know, it broke the trend line positively, but I mean, let's see, 121 to 130, about $10. So maybe even $10 isn't enough. Maybe like 145 is like strong support. And actually, even now that I look at it, even though like the candle is like primarily between about 110 to 130, it looks like some people at one point were trading it at 145. So this one we'll have to be cautious of. I probably won't add to this one just because I just don't know enough. I really would have to do a little more digging to really confirm what I want to do with this one. But again, I guess just for my purposes right now, a decent point for me to consider buying would be, just a second, probably about like 123, 124. So right where it's at, I think that's okay. Again, I probably won't do it, but what we'll do is we'll just make it orange as a close to a buy point. I think if we can get it below that trend line, I think that could bode well for this. Overall, I probably am not going to make a move on this. It's I just don't. I would need to know more. But for now, this is kind of how I see it. It's currently trading at 124. 124 would be the lower end of the uptrend. So keeping that in mind, that's good. But again, because it's above this fair value mark that we drew in a while ago at 116, I feel like it's still a little bit overvalued right now. Again, barring the fact that I didn't look at their financials, so I could be wrong in that. Uh, if you have some outside knowledge on this and want to share, by all means, let me know in the comments. That would be very helpful. But again, just sticking to the technicals, yeah, it looks like it's above our fair value line. It is still within the uptrend, so that is one positive. But again, because it's above our fair value point, I want to see if it comes back down. If it would come back down to say 116, so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll say 116-124, and what we'll do is we'll make that stand out using a pink color for this. And yeah, well, I'm okay with that. Um, so this is all we did. Airbnb is currently at 124. Based on what I'm seeing, a decent time to buy would be at at this point 116. I think before it was at like 95, I said, but because of that uptrend, 116 seems to be a good price. Or 124, again, assuming that uptrend stays in trend. And so that's why I put that little note here that it's currently in that short-term uptrend. And then again, I probably wouldn't sell it. First off, I don't even think I have any of this, but if I did, 131 would be a point that seems like it's going to struggle over, and we've seen that already just over the past couple months to probably about 7 months. It got close. It it actually went above, but right away it pulled right back. So I'm very interested to see what happens when it gets close to that 131 mark. But yeah, that pretty much wraps this up. So please like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.